What is up, and welcome back to Cryptographics. Welcome back to Saturday morning's community stream for Titans creators, everyone in the TitanX ecosystem. And this is going to be a lot of fun. This is a casual stream where it's not necessarily all about TitanX. It's not necessarily all about the data, the stats, game theory. It can be, depends on where we want to go. But this is a hangout where I'm asking all of you, or any of you that want, whether you're a builder, you're a community member, just a user, whatever you classify yourself as, I would love you to come up, hang with me. If you want to join the stream, the link is in the description on YouTube here. And if not, please go to YouTube to check out the description, and you're going to see the link to join there. But if not, totally cool. If you just want to hang out and chat with me today and just hang out the old-fashioned way. So let's see. We got Axiom here. And guys, if you are watching this and you're in the TitanX community, please repost. Please share this out. And post this in your different Telegram chats, wherever you are, wherever the community is that you have people that you're connected to. And let's get together and have a fun Saturday morning. Already had my first coffee. I'm chilling. It's a beautiful day. Sun's out, a little bit of clouds. Life's great. Torus is live. It's day 2 now. We're ticking towards day 3. It's crazy. So Axiom says, and welcome, my friend. Always good to have you here. Let's fucking go. Torus, is it day 2 already? It's not only day 2, it's actually almost day 3. And maybe what we'll do while we're hanging out here is we'll just pull that up and take a look. Let's go take a look. Actually, first of all, let's go to the TitanX stats, because I think this was one of the cool things that I saw this morning that I was pretty happy with, actually. And I think you guys will be too. Well, that's the wrong one. Let's go to the DAP here. I know you guys can't see this. Don't worry. I'm going. But let's bring this up. Right on. So total circulating supply. We're down almost. We're getting close to below 98. What's cool too is when this happens, we're going to see a pretty cool stat. So for this to happen, we need slightly less than 100 billion Torus or TitanX burned, or TitanX to come into the protocol that will bring Torus from the 9th spot overall in the ecosystem to the 8th spot. And I think that'd be a huge milestone. So right now, to date, Torus has taken in 1.4 trillion TitanX. It has burned 64 billion TitanX. It has 1 trillion locked in the smart contracts waiting to be used. And it also has 317 billion TitanX in LP. And that's a really cool, I think it's a fantastic start to have 1.4 trillion TitanX in the first 2 days. That's amazing. And if we go to the Torus DAP, let me go here. And I do apologize for any of you that were watching my stream yesterday on YouTube, and you saw that I was attempting to be here, or YouTube and X. I think it was actually just X. I was attempting to be here, and I was only streaming the deck screener link, which is what it is, man. And so I started a little test from my donation wallet, and as you can see, created 5 Torus. I earned almost 5. Current ROI is sitting at a 303%, which means I put in $10, sitting at about 40. 4x in a day. I'll take it. And if you have creations or you have stakes that you can see over here, guys, make sure that you're sharing on social media. Go ahead and share your ROI. Take a screenshot here, click this button, or use your screenshot capturing method that you usually use, and go right ahead and share it. Tag at Torus Win. Share the money sign, all caps Torus. Just start talking about Torus. The more you guys can share this, the more word can get out, the more powerful the system becomes, and so on. So let me go and just check in with everyone. Clint, good to see you, my fellow Canadian friend. Hope you're having a fantastic morning. I don't know which coast you're on, or if you're east, mid, or west, but it's a beautiful morning in the west at the moment. So I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. These are always fun. Weaponhead, thank you. I'm not even going to attempt to repeat what's in German here. It looks like that might be German. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, amazing. Nice. Victoria's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. All right. So let's see what's going on this morning. Oh, what else we got here? How you guys doing? How's Victoria treating you, Clint? Axiom, what's it like where you guys are? And man, let's look at some market stuff. We're waiting for you guys to get a little more active here. Let's go to Glassnode and let's see what's going on. Look at the markets. And again, this isn't supposed to be a finance heavy or a crypto heavy stream, but it always can be. So I'm happy to just hang out with you guys. So Bitcoin is down from its all-time high a little bit. It's at 117. It's still insane. Ethereum sitting at 2,900. And also, there's rumors circulating that Powell, or Jerome Powell from the Fed, is considering and is possibly going to resign very soon. Which, if that's the case, and Trump, or let's just say there's someone who comes in that's more pro cutting rates currently, then we could see the money printer turned on, which means the dollar devaluing, which means people are going to fly to crypto. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I'm insanely bullish on Bitcoin and ETH over this next number of months, especially with the way everything sits right now. So I am really thinking that we're on the precipice of some major stuff happening, especially because we're already sitting so bullish and we haven't had the money printer turn on yet, which means we haven't had a flood into crypto. So I think this is a turning point here for all of us, and I'm really excited. So let's see what's going on. What do we got we can talk about here? Please, guys, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to chat about, if you have any questions for me personally, let me ask you guys a question. All right, let me think about something here. I don't know. What do you guys what's your guys' plans for the weekend? We'd love to know what you guys are getting up to. You guys getting up to anything exciting? Anything you guys are excited about? Yeah, we were just talking about this. That's going to be huge. That so for you guys, while I'm waiting for you guys to hear, because there's always a delayed, little bit of a delay on the me streaming live in the studio and you guys getting it. So this though, so again, I've been talking about this on other streams, and we haven't seen. So the last top that we got at 69K, I think this was an anomaly, because we had quantitative easing come in, or basically a massive liquidity injection, emergency in 2020, and then we had rate cuts, then we had tightening at the end of 2021 or mid 2021. And so I think this created an artificial top. And so what's happening now is, I believe that this cycle is being priced in at what that cycle should have gone to in 2021, which is about 100K. And I'm calling it the ghost top theory, meaning if the network growth happened in a natural fashion, that we should have seen about 100K roughly. And sorry guys, just looking at comments here. When we fast forward to this cycle now, I think people you have the media that's silent on it right now. Then you also have all of the metrics in the background pointing to institutions buying. You have the narrative shifting. You have stable coins coming. You have all this coming to a head within crypto, and rates are still high. And so I think that with people underestimating what this cycle is going to do, I think people are really thinking 150 is going to be the top. So with people underestimating what this cycle is going to do, people basing their predictions off the last cycle top, rate cuts not even happening yet, retail being at an all-time low, maybe not all-time low, but it's insanely low. That leads me to believe that we're going way higher than anyone predicts. And I'm going to stick to that because it's fun. And I think that it's actually quite reasonable at this point. We'll see, obviously. Clint, I'm doing well for sure. Hopefully alts pick up as long as I ignore our political situation. Yep. I am I'm with you 100% on that one. I think we're on the precipice for the alts. I mean, Ethereum looks like it's going to pop. BTC looks like it's going to pop. Rate cuts look inevitable with Powell resigning. So, man, I'm really hopeful that this is the turning point. I mean, we saw a little bit of momentum when ETH went to 3K, and that pumped everything quite a lot. So, when this thing really turns around and we really get up over 3K and get to about 3,500, it wouldn't surprise me if we had some more lasting momentum. Let's see here. Let's ignore our current political situation. Yeah, the political situation here in Canada is not great. It's quite interesting. I said it last time, but these bills that are being pushed right now, I think it's Bill C2 and Bill C5. It's not good. Not good at all. And I haven't seen any updates on whether that's still getting passed or not, but it's concerning. It's very concerning. And I am getting actually sick and tired of this all going under the radar, which is quite sad. I wish people didn't have so much trust in government institutions that continue to lie, that continue to take freedoms, take, but never give back. You know, it's a negative cycle. And I know a lot of you that are here. I think typically people that are in this space are, outside the box thinkers, and, you have to be willing to think in a risky way. And so it's kind of risky to think poorly of the government, think critically of what these people are doing. And so I think a lot of us see similarly. Obviously, not all, but it doesn't matter even if we do agree or not. But I know a lot of us see it here. So yeah, without going off on a tangent on the political side, this could get political. I'm not a super political. I wouldn't say I'm educated in politics very well. So my commentary is coming more from a feeling based and just kind of how I relate the limited understanding I have to my experience. That's it. Silver the Antidote, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Glad you're back. Hey, Graphics, what percentage of your portfolio is allocated to BTC and ETH? I don't talk about my personal bag, my holdings, or anything like that on stream, but I appreciate the question. I don't want anyone to talk about what they have in their bags, out in public. I think that's personal information. I think it's private, and it needs to stay that way. But as always, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you. 50 basis points this month, I believe. That would be great. Or more. Bring it on. I hope we get more. The more the merrier. Bring on 200 basis points. Oh, man. And good to see you, Dusty Frets, as always. Hope you're doing well. Trey Lee says, baking a cake with my youngest right now, listening in from the kitchen. Ooh. I guess, yeah, it's a little later for you. I think you're over in Europe, so that makes more sense, because right now, if you're baking a cake in the morning, I mean, that's a great breakfast too. I wouldn't complain about that. So that's fantastic. Maybe you post it online. I'll be curious to see if you guys, what you guys come up with. Greetings from Scotland. Amazing. King Shackles, thanks for being here. What's Scotland like right now? What's Europe like at the moment, guys? How's the weather? How's things? How you enjoying it? And I have some friends that have been to Scotland. And, what's the famous course in Scotland? It's what is it called? I had a friend that went there the last few years, and he inspired. I want to go. I want to go so bad at some point. Let's see, Clint. Curious if you've ever seen the movie Thrive by Foster Gamble, talking about the power and universality of the torus. No, Thrive. What movie is that? It rings a bell. Let me look it up real quick here. Thrive by Foster Gamble. Let's see. I don't have my screen shared right now, but I'm trying to see if... No, I haven't. Okay, this was in 19... Oh, no, that's when he was born. I was going to say the movie's in 1948, but okay, Thrive is in 2011, I think. Is that right? 2011. Ooh, a 2011 conspiracy theory film. Of course, Rational Wiki is going to put that. That's hilarious. It's so funny that this whole conspiracy thing is continues to be this big, like, ooh, when it makes me laugh because like more conspiracy theories have been validated over the past 5 years than any fact check I've ever seen. So it's like the fact that this is still a thing. I mean, nowadays when I hear the word conspiracy theory, I immediately get curious where the truth is in it, because I mean, I've seen more conspiracy theories come true in the last 5 years, and I'm sure you guys have as well, than anything else. So to me, it's funny. And of course, Wikipedia is saying that. I mean, Wikipedia is, I would say, compromised, as most of these mainstream media outlets are. But I'm going to check that out. Thank you. I've got that on a tab here. I'm going to look into that because that looks interesting. So propaganda film. Oh, that's interesting. So IMDb says a propaganda film that smashes together pretty much every modern conspiracy theory in the books, including free energy suppression, UFO landings, New World Order. Well, that sounds like my kind of video. A video that as soon as someone says propaganda film and it has to do with this kind of stuff, but doesn't call mainstream narratives propaganda, that's a red flag. Anyways, I'll take off my tinfoil hat. Where does ETH go with the ghost top theory? Well, let's break it down. Let me go to, I'm gonna bring up BTC, ETH BTC. So again, guys, this is keyword theory. Ghost top theory. Just like other theories, it's based on evidence, but it's a theory, speculation, right? And let's see here. ETH BTC. Where are you? Just working on it, guys. Give me 1 second here. There we go. And once this loads up, I'm going to share it. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay. Now let's making sure you guys can see this. Can you guys see this? Great. So check this out. So the ghost top theory that I'm working with in terms of where I think things are going to go, I personally believe that BTC is going to go to somewhere around 400K. Could be a little less, could be more. But for me, I think because the previous top was cut short and it should have gone to 100K, what you have is a situation where people are basing the next top on 69 or 68,000. Now, because of that, people are expecting lower than if the network had naturally grown. So if the network, if BTC had grown to the degree it should have, like all the other previous three tops, right, then, it could have gone as high as about just over 100K. So if we're looking at 100,000, 250 to 300K could have absolutely been in the picture for this cycle if we were predicting based on that. Now, if we go to how that all adds into this cycle, you have this situation now where, and this is more based on what I've seen in my experience in when something is undervalued, there's overvaluation, right? You have this compensatory mechanism, right? We've seen it all the time. I mean, Hex was amazingly undervalued and then it became amazingly overvalued. And so I think this is going to happen on a larger scale. I think this is what happens with BTC cyclically as well, but this is going to be a larger scale version of it, in my personal opinion. And how this is going to work, the way I see it playing out, is because people are undervaluing BTC, it is going to jump way beyond what people are expecting. And this is why I think it's going to go to 400K, because if you go into Grok, you look at the regression rainbows or the rainbow charts, and you look at all these different metrics for BTC, it's pointing to about 250K. But because of this overvaluation that I foresee coming, I think 400K is actually a more accurate target. So what does that mean for ETH? Now, this is where I can answer your question finally, which is if we're looking at the ETH chart, I think now there's a lot to the ETH equation, because if you go, and I can show you this on Glassnode as well, because I think it's really fascinating that everything is pointing to this being a generational double bottom, like you're seeing on the ETH BTC here for Ethereum. This shows on the MVRV. This shows on the ETH BTC. This shows on so many different charts. And this show, I mean, transactions are even ticking up. You've got narrative. You've got digital oil is an interesting narrative I've been seeing. You have the Michael Saylors of Ethereum entering the chat and starting to put hundreds and hundreds of $1 million and starting to openly talk about BTC or ETH being the next Bitcoin. I mean, there's a lot going for Ethereum right now. I mean, you have stable coins flooding into Ethereum. There's just so much happening in favor of Ethereum right now, and so many other chains just aren't holding to the task. And I mean, if we look at the RSI on the monthly, I mean, you can't tell me that's not a setup like we've never seen before. So that being said, let's play the game of talking about Ethereum and where it might go. So if BTC goes to 400K, let's have that as our benchmark here, right? What does that mean for ETH if it stays right here? If ETH goes to 400K, that means if ETH doesn't move, ETH is going to 10K. But if ETH moves from this price is going to change. So here's a few different valuations. So if we go to, let's do a horizontal line, let's go to 0.1. If ETH breaks its previous high, not its all-time high, right? Goes to right here. And BTC goes to 400K, which, I mean, if this is going to be a big cycle for ETH, I actually do find it really hard to believe that ETH won't overperform its previous high. Not its all-time high necessarily, but its previous high, right? So this would be at 400K, this would be $40,000 ETH. Now, if we go even crazier, again, this is a wick on the monthly here, so I'm going to break this. But if ETH this cycle were to go to all-time highs for the first time since, well, in BTC ratio since 2017, right? It's literally underperformed since 2017 against Bitcoin massively. If ETH overperforms for one cycle, and let's say it goes to 0.2, right? Let's say it breaks its all-time high by, I guess that would be a 30% increase on its all-time high, essentially. That means if BTC is at 400K, you have ETH going to 80K. This is where it kind of gets mind-blowing, because it's like, what? But if you just put things together, right? Even if we say, okay, ETH is going to, BTC is going to 250K, this ratio here, so ETH returning to this ratio against BTC means $25,000 Ethereum. Look at where we are and look at just where that is on this chart. If we go to an all-time high in ETH and we go to 0.2 at 250K Bitcoin, it's still $50,000 ETH. So it's absurd. I know it's crazy to think about, but I have this feeling that there is some legitimacy to this. And it's just, human behavior is an interesting thing. And, when people expect one thing, the opposite happens. And there's always surprises in the cycles, right? Last cycle, the surprise was the stimulus in 2020. And the surprise at the top was quantitative tightening, right? Then we had some stuff happening over in China. I think it was China that had some mining operations kick off and reset the bull. But you could see, if you look at the chart, and I'll bring it up here because I think it's important to hit this home. And I know this is the Hangout. We're talking about macro stuff, but I think this is an important thing to consider. Oh, that's a terrible chart. Let's see here. I think it's this one. Okay, let me show you. So this, to me, if we go to the weekly, just to show you, and obviously, this is the thing about a theory as well, is when you're looking at a theory, oftentimes, we try and prove the theory and we look for all the evidence that it's right. I could be totally wrong here when I'm saying this, but this is the way I'm reading this chart. Price rips up. You don't have this natural, see the peak and this decline. It's like, okay, yeah, that's the top, time to sell now, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, definitely agreed, market top, boom. Here, it's like, no, I don't want this to be the top. I'm still buying, I'm fine, it's the top. And then people give up, and then it should try again. It's like people didn't want 69. The market didn't want to believe that 69K was the top. And so if we draw a line here, I'll show you. This is why, and this you can look at the rainbow chart as well, and you can see this. But this here is roughly why I'm pointing to about 100K, because you can see that this is kind of like a natural bottom to top kind of look here. Now, this isn't saying it's true, but this is my point, is look at the top looks weird. And so I think people are undervaluing it, and which actually would make sense why, if you understood this, you would think that we've only just begun, and why the media hasn't turned loud yet, because it's not quite time. We're just now starting to break what should have been our previous all-time high. So anyways, I could go off the deep end on this. Let's see. I'm mowing my lawn, listening on my earbuds. Nice. That Saturday morning lawn cutting. There's nothing like the smell of cut grass too. It's really nice, actually. So I don't blame you. I think the Bitcoin treasury strategy by companies get way crazier than people expect. This is what I'm saying. And the ETH treasury as well. I mean, like, you have two assets now that I think are about to get adoption to the level people haven't seen yet. And I think this is just like one of the most important things to really consider. So, man, I'm really bullish. Really, really, really bullish. As you can tell by my theories. So we'll see. Maybe Vescent takes over the Fed and has a dual post. Imagine what might happen. Bruh. That would be wild. I have very little faith at this point that we'd be so lucky. But if that were to happen, my God. I mean, we're all buying islands. I mean, it would just get crazy. Kevin Light Up, good to see you. Glad to have you here, my man. Hope you're doing well. My fellow Canadian. Debuglim, let's go, boys. Hey, glad to have you here. I haven't seen your name here before. It's good to have you. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, guys, real quick, just for all of you who are new, if you're watching on YouTube, because I see a lot of you on YouTube, go to the description. Click the link to StreamYard. Come join me. Come hang out live on stream. It's more fun with friends. Life's more fun with friends. Streaming's more fun with friends. And even if not, though, what's great is we have chat. So if you guys don't feel comfortable, this is why we have chat. We can hang out together still. So no pressure, but we'd love to have you guys. Trader Lee, this is one of the benefits of being anonymous. No worry about a $5 wrench attack. Well, exactly. It's a risk of being public. Like, I've got my face out. My full name is on a book. Like, you guys can go look that up. I'm fully doxxed. And it's a risk I'm willing to take because, you know what? I see the benefits of, especially now, of being a founder. And, I'm also just trusting that this is kind of the way my journey needs to be. And what I will learn from all that comes from all my decisions is going to be in my highest good. And I'll take that in stride. So I feel like that's how life works, You make your decisions, and what comes your way is always the opportunity you need to learn from or utilize the benefits or consequences of your actions. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But I don't blame anyone in this space for wanting to remain anonymous, because we've seen all time and time again just how crazy people can be in the space. Waiting to eat pilau. I don't know what that is. With my wife, Sveta cooked for late night supper. It's 10:06. Oh, okay. Where is pilau? Is that in India? I'm guessing. Totally guessing here. I don't know what pilau is, or pilau. I'm probably butchering that. So I apologize. But yeah, what is that? Because I want to know. Like, I don't even know how to say it. It doesn't sound delicious or not. I don't even know what that is. What kind of plate is that? What's your viewpoint on the trickle-down effect of ETH ripping higher, reaching pulse chain, possibly creating a bid? What's your viewpoint on the trickle-down effect of ETH ripping higher? Well, I mean, man, you've got an interesting situation for pulse chain, because even the marketing alone, when you have 170,000 ETH public, you know what I'm talking about, Silver, with sitting there that's possibly able to buy pulse chain and or anything on pulse chain or any of the RH tickers. I mean, ETH ripping in general is going to bring up pulse chain. What's been interesting is when ETH went to 3K, I was expecting pulse chain to come up a little bit more, and it didn't quite, which is partially, in a way, there was part of me that's thinking, I wonder if it's actually going to be a little bit more decorrelated because most of the liquidity is in stables. But I think that's also, an opportunity, because it's a little bit of an interesting situation. When you are pumping with ETH, you're pumping with everything else. And so you have the potential where if you are not a really standout product, or for whatever reason, it's just hard to reach people, you're getting caught in the noise, not because the protocol isn't, or the product or the chain or the products on the chain aren't fantastic, but just due to how much congestion there is in terms of noise. You do have a benefit if, let's say, pulse chain doesn't rip with ETH, then you have this opportunity where it can rip after and take market share. Just a thought, but I don't know if it's really. I think I would want a little bit more clarity on what you're asking here. You mean just like the trickle down effect? I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be fantastic for pulse chain, though I am leaning to pulse chain pumping later on its own, just due to a multitude of factors. Married with crypto, I am in Torus. Thank you. I appreciate you hopping in, becoming a fellow creator, and I'd love to know your feedback so far. And guys, real quick, if you've created in Torus or you've staked, go share your ROI online. Let's spread the word of the age of Torus and let people know that they can go create or stake and do pretty damn well right now, because there's a lot of ROI to be had over the coming days. And if things keep going the way they're going, I mean, it's looking pretty damn good. So thank you. I appreciate you participating, and glad to have you on stream here. Did you catch Ethereum Foundation selling 10,000 ETH to SharpLink in their first OTC deal versus market dumping? Very interesting and great. They had a management shakeup. That is actually huge. I didn't catch that the foundation sold directly to SharpLink. I hadn't been tracking the on-chain moves so much, but that's freaking cool. That's actually huge. That's a huge statement for the Ethereum Foundation, really, to say, like you said, they decided that it's better to offload like more on more in an OTC style, or in literally an OTC style, to prevent the price from coming down. I think that's, to me, there's a few things that are in there. It's obviously, you can read into it, and I don't want to speak for them, but I'm going to try to. To me, that signals like, okay, we need to sell, we want to sell, but we also don't want to push down the price. And that also signals, why don't they want to push down the price? Well, I think it's because they see the price going up and they don't want to prevent momentum. They don't want to create negative momentum. There's a lot there. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. What do you see, like, and what does that imply about the coming months ahead? Let's go, Jukes. Good to see you. Glad to have you here, man. Come on stream, bro. Come hang out. Would love to see you. People are saying BTC treasuries. Oh, also real quick, guys, TitanX Utils. Is it .com? I think it's .com. TitanXUtils.com is coming very soon, and you're going to be able to go to the TitanX ecosystem through TitanX Utils. I believe it's .com, and you're going to be able to see all the ROIs in the ecosystem, take advantage of everything, all in one hub that Jukes and Keto, a father-son duo, which I think is freaking awesome, are building together. So shout out to both of you. And when you guys are ready to rock, I told you, and I'm going to say it again, I want to have you guys on stream. I want to showcase what you guys have been building, because it's incredible. So let's keep going here. But people are saying, and Trees, good to see you. Thank you for being here. People are saying BTC treasuries could be the black swan of crypto if they belly up. but I think the strategy is too strong to fail, to be honest. The MNAV is interesting. I don't actually know what the MNAV is, so forgive me for my ignorance. But I have a hard time believing that you could really argue the case. I need to see like the evidence and what the arguments are for BTC treasury companies going belly up. Because if you've got companies like BlackRock and JP Morgan, and like these aren't small companies, they're not just like treasury companies, they are like too big to fail companies. And so I have a hard time believing that they can go belly up. And if they're not going to go belly up, guys like Sailor and I can't imagine. I need to see the argument for that. I don't understand how that's possible, but it's an interesting proposition. And if you clarify what MNAV is, I'll look that up and we'll talk about it too. But I've actually just never heard of that. Or maybe I have, but I'm just having a brain fart at the moment here. Jukes, I can't imagine what would happen to TitanX if ETH hits upward of 80K. Oh, I know. Well, I mean, for one, the ceiling for mining, which means inflation, that can then become sell pressure later, becomes so far out. TitanX can do unbelievable X's before it runs into inflation. Same with Hyper, having inflation come out, which is good for price appreciation. But also, if the price starts to run away, or if the difficulty starts to run away for even Hyper, then ETH doesn't necessarily come into the system. So there's a lot to it. But I mean, if it's a 2,500 or 3K and it's going to 80K, that's nearly a 20 or it's 25x, I guess, from here, something like that. And I mean, if TitanX is tagging along for the ride, it's a lot of X's for TitanX I would see coming as well. So Palau is a South Asian rice or South Asian dish you'll find in Pakistan and countries around that area. Oh, cool. Okay. Interesting. Love rice dishes. Palau rice. Got you. It's usually like a flavored rice with chicken, lamb, or peas, but you can probably add other things to it. That sounds delicious. Man. I love it and very okay, dude. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Earned almost double my Torus in the first day. That's day one. If you're in it, I mean, if you're in it for long term, there's 88 days to go. Like you got 100% on day one, and you still have 87 days to go. You're doing, I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, I'm really hoping that this really, catches people's eyes and really kicks off, because the more participation, the more powerful the system becomes, the bigger the liquidity pool, the bigger the buy and burn. But hey, if people are going to just slowly come in and participate, I'm cool with it, because you know what that means is that you guys who are in early are going to get the lion's share of supply. And you guys, because you're here early, you should be rewarded for participation. And I really want you guys to win. And that's why I built Torus the way it is, because it's user-centric. So that's awesome, man. If you guys haven't, please go share your ROIs in the system or from the system. Go down to your creation or stake tab to the table where it shows all of your creations or stakes, and click the share button, click take screenshot, and then go and post on social media and tag Torus Win. So at Torus Win on X, as well as the money tag. So the money sign, Torus, all caps, and even share the website if you want. Just say, welcome to the age of Torus. And yeah, let's get this thing trending. Jukes says, we'll stream 100% when things are ready, man. I can't wait. I can't wait either, dude. I'm really excited to see what you and Keto have been working on. And thank you, Keto. I really appreciate that. It's pretty surreal to have this thing out and live. And it's funny. I was saying this. I can't remember who was saying this to. I think it was a friend I was talking to the other day, right after this launched. It's a weird phenomenon where this thing has so much anticipation, So I bought my first condo a few years back, or 3-4 years ago, and I had this same phenomenon happen. I was like so excited, and I was, I really wanted. Obviously, I was like, okay, I finally done something where I could buy a freaking condo, and I'd never been able to do it before, so I did. I was so excited, and I was so proud, and I was blah 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 blah, and I was like, oh, once I get this thing, I'm gonna feel so good, and I'm gonna be this, that, the other thing. And it was really fascinating because I got the condo, I moved in, I got all the furniture in, I set everything up exactly how I wanted it. And I remember sitting down on my couch that I think it was that night or the night after when everything had hit me that, this was actually mine. And it was just like this empty feeling of like, this did nothing. And it was like, wow, okay. There's no material object, no thing, no experience that can really, you know, fill any sort of void and happiness and fulfillment and meaning. And, one of the cars I purchased in the past, same thing. Got this car and I was like, day one, I was like, wow, like I look good, I feel good. Like I was like rolling around in this thing and it was awesome. And then like a day later, it was like same as that condo experience where I'm like, wow, that's it. So it's keep getting these experiences where this happens. And it's funny, it's not to the same degree, but it kind of happened with Torus too. And this isn't to say that it didn't go exactly as I wanted to. Torus went perfect. I could not be more happy and ecstatic and really thankful that I'd be able to do this. But it was a similar experience where it's like all this and then boom, it's live and it's like nothing changed. It had its moment and I was like, okay, yep, it's over, move on. It's like nothing changed at all. And it's just trippy. Very, very trippy experience. And the one thing that I can say still is, it is extremely motivating. I've had more wind in my sail from Torus being live and having, something that I have a vision for and that I'm going to bring to fruition. But now it's like, it's that excitement and that everything has faded in the sense where it's like that giddiness. It's like waiting for Christmas morning. But now Christmas morning is come and gone and I have the stuff and I'm excited to utilize it. And it's just a different feeling. So it's just trippy how life works, man. And just taking this all in and, processing all of it. It's fascinating to see how these kind of experiences create meaning or not and how they fade and what that tells us about where we find meaning and fulfillment in life. And I think it's just freaking cool, because it's neither here nor there. It's not good or bad. It just is. It just feels the way it does, just is the way it is. And it's fascinating nonetheless. And it's the only thing we can do, or I can do, not to project onto you guys, is just to learn from it. And I think that's extremely fascinating. How high will TitanX go, you think? Oh, you want the moon math, do you? Okay. Well, okay. How do I even put this? If ETH is doing 80K, that's a 25x. Let's do some quick math here. I'm going to see what's the ETH USD. So we did let's see here. In the last, I guess this is weekly. In the last week, we did 16%. Let's go all the way to the top. We have about a 20% move. And if we go to TitanX, which I'll share, don't worry, in a second. And by the way, what I'm about to say is extraordinarily rough math. So this is just all someone can do just to actually, try and predict. But I would not think for a second that this is going to be accurate. I actually would expect TitanX personally to overperform, but we'll see. So now if we go to TitanX and we look at the weekly here, we've got about 40%. Actually, a little bit. It's a little bit more than that, actually. Let's see here. So in the last week, about 40%. So we're basically doing double whatever Ethereum does. And I mean, that's not a rule. It's not written in stone. So if ETH is going to do a 25x, then TitanX, if we're going off just this math, right, which is loose math at best, then TitanX should minimum do a 50x. Now, that being said, obviously, if we lower that, if we say ETH to 40K, ETH to 10K, that changes significantly. Now, the difference, though, is that TitanX is much easier to move. And if TitanX, so what, for the record here, that's in USD value. If TitanX on the wrapped ETH chart stays only at this ratio it has here, meaning it never moves, which means it never goes anywhere near its previous highs or anything, that's what that price will do. If TitanX goes to its previous all-time high, that's nearly a 10x. So that would be, again, this is moon math, okay? This is just for fun. But if he's going to 80K, TitanX is doing 50x just with the liquidity bonding, right? Then we have, if TitanX goes back up to its all-time high, we have to times that by 10. So even if we bring that down to exactly what ETH does, 25x, TitanX is going to do 25x, then that's still 250x total. If TitanX is going to go all the way up to its, its main high that it had in the beginning, I mean, that's another almost 10x from, that's actually literally another 10x from there. So that would be 2500x. If ETH does what we just talked about, and TitanX goes back up to its previous high. That being said, if we're getting in here, we're getting into a whole lot of inflation potentially coming out, or supply that'll be able to be mined in TitanX terms. So bear with me on that. But there's your moon math. This is just, me deducing really simply and loosely, for that matter, what I could see happening in different scenarios. Silver, the antidote. In regards to the Ethereum Foundation doing OTCs, it's a pivot because all past events damage the price. Agreed. So now institutions can contact them to buy direct. OTC equals bullish as fuck. Net win-win, no slippage either part. I mean, that is best case scenario. I think if the Ethereum Foundation's really made a bunch of really good pivots over the last while. I think the privacy pivot was fantastic. I think their pivot on a PR front and a marketing front was great. I think they brought in some new guys. They got rid of the gal that was not so good for Ethereum. They've made some great changes, which is awesome. And sorry, I'm like 10 minutes behind the comments here, guys. So I apologize about that. It's a risk factor potentially removed from ETH if more chose that path. That is so true. It's also interesting too, because the Ethereum Foundation is basically giving up their lion's share of supply, which I think is fascinating too. They're giving the control over to other companies, corporations, and treasuries. I think that's a fascinating one. I'm gonna have to watch this really closely here. It is delicious, especially homemade. That's the palau rice dish. That's making me hungry, man. It's not even 9, and I got a ways to go before I'm gonna take on my first meal. But that sounds delicious. I love rice dishes so much, especially homemade. Oh, do you not predict BTC and ETH top based on the time in the cycle and not the dollar amount? Well, I am looking at timing too, and I talk right now mostly about the price, but I see your other comment. It's got me about the beard. Do you not predict the ETH BTC top based on time? I do, but already, if like, let me show you why I'm not really looking so much at the time, because I think this cycle has shown already that we're headed towards irregularity. Let me show you here. 1 second. Let me find the BTC USD chart again, and I'll bring this up. So let's go top to where we are now. Let's zoom out and talk time frames, because this is the most important thing in my opinion. So let's go from top to top for 2013 to 17 was basically 1,500 days. If we go again, $1,500 days. If we go to where we are now, let's just do this. And let's go from the top here. Let's go 1,500 days. We're already right there, essentially. So I could see us having a little bit of an extended cycle because, again, let me put this into perspective here. Typically, when the parabola starts, and this is why it's weird because the cycle may not be different, but how it looks is substantially different than previous cycles, and it looks quite similar to 2017's run up, or obviously this was 2016 when this was happening. But what's interesting is the parabola. So the part of the cycle where the cycle rips upward. I mean, in 2017, it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months of parabolic move before it started to dip. The last cycle had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before it started to decrease. So even if we take a happy medium there and we go 7, what we have to deduce is that we have 7 potential months ahead of us. Obviously, I have a hard time saying 7 months at that point. It could be way less, just because of how elongated this kind of more slow structural trend has been created. So maybe we only get a few months, but even then, if we go, let's say a few months from now, we got August, well, we got July, let's say. So the rest of July into August, September, October. So that would be an October all-time high, even if it's 3 months, which I have a hard time with that. 3 months, and then we have 60, 90 days after Ethereum tops, and finally we have alts. So we would have October, we have November, December to January, then January into March as the earliest that we would have for alts to kind of do its thing. Maybe January to March would be probably the most likely window for alts to really go off, but still, that's into 2026. Now, if we superimpose the previous cycles onto this one, and we do that 7-month kind of median that we saw between the two of them, what we have to deduce is that this is very different. So from now, 7 months is into February, right? Then 60 to 90 days from that, ETH will do its thing. And 60 to 90 days from that, we would see the alts, or maybe 30 to 60 days is better for alts. So we could see literally this time next year being when alts, this might be on the tail end of it, and probably when the expiration date would be in that scenario. But this is why I'm having a hard time with the time, because it's weird, right? Nothing really adds up. And when you try and add things up like they've previously been, you get wonky results, or you imply that BTC is going to do things only in the next month or two, and that's it, which is irregular and has never really happened before. So it's hard, what's happening with that beard, bro? Are you waiting until the end of the bull market to take it off? Dude, I just like the beard, man. And I just enjoy it. Now, what I am thinking about doing is just trimming it a little bit. I want to clean it up. I've just been honestly swamped and haven't taken the time because, I got to be locked in. I don't know if any of you have ever had a beard where you're really attached to it. You love it. You want to lock in, and you want to actually make sure that you don't mess up, because one wrong and all that time, all that waiting, that patience, the discipline to not touch it, out the window. And now you get, a beard that's way shorter than you wanted. And I've had that. And let me tell you, it sucks. It's just not a fun day. Those are just, it's unfortunate. So hopefully the Moon Math calculator worked for you. Hey, top reviews. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Hopefully my Moon Math calculator matches with your Moon Math calculator, or it's less than your Moon Math calculator, because I love it. So true. When looking back on life so far, the moments I'm most proud of and brought so much joy are when volunteering or helping people in my life in a monumental way. That's just it, man. I mean, I think you said it perfectly. Things don't fulfill. It's like when you give and when you connect with people and with life, that to me is, what I would say is how I've experienced what you just said, where, you're not taking, you're not giving. It's like milestones can't fulfill that. It's like when you are when you're spreading love, when you're lifting people up, when you're basically, this is a very maybe a hippie way or a woo-woo or a new age way of saying it, but when you're lifting the overall frequency of those around you, like you're uplifting them, or anyone that you're coming into contact with, I don't like that. Those are the most fulfilling moments. And, this is something else I've noticed too, is it's one thing to do something for someone and then speak of it. I feel like something happens, and it's not a good thing when you make something that's between you and your connection to all that is, and it really gives you meaning, and you then make it about you, and you reduce that to something that is now like you're getting something out of it. It nullifies it to a degree. I've noticed that time and time again. It's so interesting. And so it's those quiet moments when you do something for someone that I can still think back on. And, I have that under my belt. I know who I am in those moments. And I know you guys have probably experienced the same thing, where you can look back on these and it's not been used to inflate your sense of self or to make yourself feel good about yourself. It's just like you look back on that and it's like, in your heart, kind of who you are, what you've done for others. And it just makes you feel more full. And it's like, it's your foundation to stand on without ever like proclaiming it and preaching like, look what I did. That's why I find this whole philanthropy movement, fascinating, because if you're giving to receive, it's an interesting thing. And maybe that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Cause I know I'm like 15 minutes behind now. And this is like a repetition of a previous conversation we're having, but this area, I love speaking about this stuff because I think there's so much there, and it's such a powerful subject to talk about and then apply to our everyday lives and feel the impact of it immediately. So I have a hard time not rambling about it. I love this stuff, man. I love crypto and I love this conversation. Let's see here. NAV is net asset. Oh, so median net asset value. I'm assuming for my understanding, MNAV is including Bitcoin at valuation. So they use this metric to increase value of their stock, the issue stock that is sold to buy BTC. Oh, interesting. I'm going to have to look more into that before I speak about it on stream, because I don't want to make myself look like a goon. You know how that is. Don't do math on stream. And also don't talk about things. Well, this is what I've learned for myself, is I don't want to talk about things I don't know anything about, because I sound really dumb and it's permanently on the internet, which I'm sure I've already done, but maybe I've just grown a little bit wiser in that. So yeah, the moon math gets even crazier when you consider actual volume of money that needs to come in for a certain market cap. Well, exactly. I think so many people see the market cap, then think that represents actual dollars invested. Exactly. People don't understand how, like exactly what you said, volume and market cap and actual extractable value are interrelated, and also market cap and liquidity. I mean, I made a post about this a while ago, where there's a liquidity to market cap ratio that you can look up for each of these major coins and tokens that really shows you actually just how easy it is to move these assets, even on the large side. But what means is it's not realizable, because for Ether BTC, there's like a fraction of the totals, like a tiny sliver of the total value of the BTC market cap that's backing everything. OTC trades are different, but that's just like some market sells. When I was checking this months ago, there was like 660 million. So I bet you there's probably close to $1 billion in sell side liquidity for BTC at the moment. Don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing at the moment. But last I checked, it was like 660 million. But I have to look it up. Not sure how it all works. I have to look more into it, but was just wondering if you had an opinion. I wish I did. What I'll do is I'm going to check it out, and then the next time we all stream together, I would be happy to talk about it a little bit more. Or maybe someone in the community actually knows a little bit more than I do, and would be willing to come on and talk about it, because a lot of this macro stuff, I'm getting the hang of, the core, obviously, stuff, but there's always these new things that come up that are very new, and I need to take the time to learn. So Keto Natural says we could have a great convo on energy, vibration, and karma. I would love that, honestly. And I'll come back to that in a sec, but got to run. Enjoyed your views. Thanks, graphics. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate your questions as always. And I appreciate you coming back or coming on stream and hanging out. I haven't seen your name in a while, and it's great to see you back. And what's funny is every time you've come back has been rather bullish, and then every time you've gone away, we've gone rather bearish. So I see you coming back as a good sign. Glad to have you here, my friend. So we could go on. We have a great convo on energy, vibration, and karma. Well, hey, I'd be curious what comes to mind when you're thinking energy, vibration, and karma. I mean, what comes to mind for me, it's funny. It's like I love these conversations, and I follow, and a lot of the terminology I will use similar, and simultaneously, it's become increasingly apparent to me that even all these terms are funny because they're representations of something that we can't actually explain and can't know. And when we try to explain, we actually reduce it to a singular thing when it's so much more than the word could ever imply. That to say and be concretely, energy exists and vibration exists and karma exists and all these things. It's like, it's funny to me because they're very real, and simultaneously, they're very unreal. And I've had some pretty wild experiences in the past, and this is related to one of them, where I kind of realized very shockingly that none of the stuff that we're talking about exists in the way that we do. And this is a trippy conversation that we're going to go down this rabbit hole. I'm going to get some people that are thinking I've gone loopy. But maybe I'll save that for when it's warranted, because that's a pretty deep and weird conversation. But Utah says that's the beard of knowledge, for it must not perish. I love the way you've worded that. That sounds like it's out of a scripture or something. And I think that's awesome. I'm going to hold on to that. This is the beard of knowledge, for it must not perish. Oh, man. Hope the grass is smelling great, looking great. Hope it's sunny where you are, man. Laws of the universe, ultimately, authenticity in your intention. Me too, but whatever. Okay, so yeah, I guess the only thing we can do is try and describe it in ways that kind of bring the untangible into the tangible, even if we can only understand it and speak about it in those ways. It's still important because it gets it across, and you can then think about it, meditate on it, live and experience and try and feel into it, where that's the truth. I think is in the felt experience, but judging by the LOL from trees, some of you are looking at me with a raised eyebrow. And that's fine. I'm cool with it, But if this raises an eyebrow for you, hey, what else is on your mind? Let me know what you guys like to talk about. It's cool in the VCs in Telegram, which I hope you guys will join. Usually we do 9 a.m. But right now it's a little bit, I think we're going to hang on stream for a little bit longer. I'm feeling like we should end pretty soon here. And if you guys want to hang out for a little bit longer, that's also totally cool. But may also start the VC. And it was cool yesterday. We were talking about everything from go-karting to motocross. I learned about a few of you, and actually Drock, I don't know if he's still in here, but a lot of us have a lot in common. Like, one of my big things is I love go-karting. I'm a huge car guy. I raced motocross back in the day. Was big into extreme sports. And what's cool is just hanging out in the TG, just casually talking like we're doing now, learned that a lot of you guys are very similar. It's pretty cool. And I was saying this, and Brock's still here. I see you. And I would love to. I don't know if we're ever going to get to like a meetup at some point. Pulse Chain does it. We had TitanX conference. If we ever did in IRL, and I would love, as conferences are cool, but can we please make it so that we have like a few hours of conference time and like sitting in a circle saying, yay, we did it. And then we go and actually have some damn fun like we go and have some experiences. We go out, we rent dirt bikes, we go rent some cars, we go ride, we go race some cars or race some go-karts or go bungee jumping or do some crazy stuff and just like have a good old time together. Because I mean, I personally, I don't want to sit in a conference room for hours and hours and hours or days. I would love to personally just go do things, even if it's just like, let's go for a freaking hike. Let's go into nature. Let's go, I don't know, climbing. Let's go do other stuff. I think that'd be more fun. And before we get there though, yeah, cars, guitars, and motos. Actually, got my guitar right here, sitting always beside me. Haven't really been playing it too much over the last while, but still now and again. So let's see here. So I apologize. It's funny because me getting to your guys' comments, I'm so behind that we're in one conversation and then you guys comment on my previous commentary after you've had a moment to think about it and then type. And so we're just kind of bouncing back and forth. Oh, it just makes me laugh how those streams work with all the delays. It's just funny. So hope you guys are oh, hey. Yeah, more guitar. I could definitely do that. Definitely more guitar. I know this guy's a pretty wicked guitar player. If you guys haven't, go check out his channel. And he's got a few videos out. Amazing guitar player, very, very good teacher. And if you want to learn a lot in a short period of time, I mean, he's got courses out. Just a fantastic dude, a brother of mine. And yeah, go check out his stuff. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. Where was I? Oh yeah. So no need to worry about out of this world topics. We're all lunatics. Look where we're at. Most volatile. That is true. Yeah, that's true. If you want to judge me or anyone else for talking about the universal stuff, I mean, hey, the fact that we're all here, we're all in the same boat. We're all as crazy as it gets. That's just slightly crazier. Or not. I don't know. But we're all in the same boat. Dusty Fred says, we experience life, in my opinion, through symbols and images as if words can actually do it justice. 100%. 100%. I mean, I'm sure you guys, or maybe Dusty Fred, I'm sure you guys know, I've been reading a little bit of Buddhism. I was raised in Christianity. I am neither in anything or any one religion. I'm kind of, searching for what the truth means in that, in whatever way, whatever the hell that means. But in Buddhism, and hopefully I'm not butchering this, I think the Buddha put it best, where he kind of takes the stance of, things do exist and they don't simultaneously. And so it's almost like, a word is a sound that's symbolic of, what we're trying to express. So I think you nailed it. We experience life, in my opinion, through symbols and images as if words can actually do it justice. Exactly. Well, it's interesting. This is why I think memes and images online are so powerful for ideas, because, if I say to you anything, but then you put it in a meme that's relatable, that has someone doing an action and connotating, the expressiveness of what you're trying to say and really emphasizing what's beyond the words itself, that's when we start to really get what's being said. And so I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Clint says, my theory about the torus shape is that it also represents that life cycle of the universe. The center of the universe is in a state of extreme density pressure at the beginning. That's an interesting one. I've heard people talk about this before, and I think there is something to that. And I mean, it's why I chose the torus symbol. To me, it's a symbol of like oneness and how all things are interconnected. I mean, but it's interesting, even to say interconnected implies somewhat of a separateness. And, really when it comes down to it, it's really, if you guys don't know who Rupert Spira is, I love Rupert Spira. He's a fantastic guy. I think he's got a very interesting way of putting it. And I've been trying to figure out, like, how can you actually explain, if there is only one. Well, even saying there is only one implies that one exists, that it's its own entity. It gets really weird. So like, I have no idea how to even convey this whole, like, I mean, there is one. One of the experiences that I had where I guess you could say, so the first kind of like mind-blowing moment of kind of experiencing this. The only word that came to mind to speak about everything and all there is just so. Like it just is. And it's cool to see how you guys are deep into this stuff as well. I hope I'm not weirding you out, and if I am, that's also cool too. But I love this. The theory about the torus shape is that it also represents the life cycle of the universe. I love that. The center of the universe is in a state of extreme density pressure at the beginning. I love to hear this. This is freaking cool, man. Let's see. Let me just go to Clint's comment again here. The rapid expansion of slowing of expansion, then contraction, faster and faster back to a state of density. Then it starts all over again into a unity. Dude, you got to come on stream and you got to say more. I love this. I would love to go in a deep dive on this stuff because this is where my heart is. I love crypto. Don't get me wrong, but this stuff is the stuff that really speaks to me. And I mean, more so when it comes to helping people and like really helping people like work through things. But I love it. I love it. Yeah, Utah, you have to be very open-minded to even be here. That's the thing. Like you're kind of way so far out on the open-minded curve that people look at you as a lunatic oftentimes. So I agree. Utah's a legend. More guitar, my man. More guitar. And what type of food cuisine? Well, I was doing a lot of carnivore over the last while. I was pretty strict on that. Not strict, but like focused on doing that. But recently I have been a very simple diet in terms of I like whole foods. So I do like rice, chicken, fish, beef, veggies, onions, garlic. And I tend to have simple dishes, but I've learned to cook them very well. So, but when in terms of what I love, man, like I love pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? But I had a mango curry recently that blew me away. It was just unbelievable. So, man, anything from steaks to curries, I love it all. I love it all. I don't really cook all that myself. I normally just cook like a beef dish or chicken dish or fish. One of my favorites. So I have a few different methods that I've used over the years for cooking steak. I have a secret method that's like, my God, it's mind blowing. If you look up Hester Blumenthal, I think that's his name. He cooks a steak and he learned to cook the steak or engineered this method through using like I think it was infrared. And basically he looks while the steak is on the pan to see how long the steak takes to cool down. And when the pan's on high, it's like 15 seconds and then the steak cools down on that side. So basically if you flip the steak before every 15 seconds, the steak will cook perfectly. And I swear to you, you try this. So let the steak sit out, get to room temperature. If you can, let it sit out in the fridge on a grate for like 2 days. Put salt on it. More salt, the better. Obviously to a limit, to a degree. But go a little bit more than you think, and it will be worth it. It's delicious. And then you cook it with this method. And it takes about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the cut of the steak, to get this thing to actually cook properly. But oh my God, I still like every time I cook it for friends and family now and again. And every time I get commentary, I'm like, what? This is restaurant quality. So that's Hester Blumenthal's method. And I would highly recommend that because that's one of my favorite dishes to make. Now, you guys got me rambling about everything. I have a rambling problem. I see you, bro. I got you. Islamic philosophy has a lot of similarities to Buddhism. You'll find it interesting. I would love to discuss on stream. This is why. Where's my book? I don't know if I have it around me. Do I have it? Oh, I think it's in my closet. I have a book called World Religions that was given to me by a friend that I'm reading right now. And it talks about Islam. It talks about Judaism, Christianity, Taoism, Confucianism. What else is in there? And I've got through Hinduism and I'm almost through Buddhism, but I've done a little bit more on Buddhism on the background. Just, watching videos and whatnot. But I'm actually really interested to see Islam and Islamic philosophy as well. I think there's so much truth in each of these. And I hope, and I'm not saying that, if you subscribe to one particular religion that, your belief is incorrect. This is just my personal take, and I'm just some dude on the internet. Just the way I approach things. But I would love to learn, because I think every religion has something to teach, in some way, shape, or form. So I wish I could see the wizard wand. I wish I could see the emojis here. Let's see. People chase love, but love is, you know what? Yes, there's no, but here's, you know what I've been thinking about in this note too. When it comes to love, love's an interesting one, because a lot of people interpret it. Obviously, there's like, Greek has the 3 different words, with agape being unconditional. And I can't remember what the other ones are. They're called, but it's like friendly love, relational love, like, to a lover. And then there's unconditional love, which is agape. But, I think that it's really interesting to really ask the question, what is love? Because because it's to me, it's the more I've experienced. I've had a few experiences that have really shown me how true what you're saying is. And I mean, when you set aside your personal ego and you just give yourself completely to someone, it's a transcendent experience. And it really shows you how our choices are completely creating what we experience every day. Where, we choose to get angry at someone driving too slow in front of us. We choose to look at someone in a negative light. We choose to respond negatively to someone. But we can also choose to, spread love. And something that I've really pondered over the last while on this is, what is actually kindness? Because in Canada, niceness is very common, and kindness to me is very different. I have family that I've been watching my nephew grow up over the last few years, and he's only in his early stages. But it's been interesting to watch the parenting process in my family for the first time, and really see that, and really ask a question about what's kindness, versus being nice. And kindness has this interesting connotation that I think is related to, love, where if you love someone, you'll do what's kind, and you'll be kind to them. But again, kindness and niceness, I think, are completely separate things. Being nice is just like, is more like a pleasing thing, you're like, or a non-disruptive action, but being kind is more is more of, acting through wisdom and acting in what is in that person's highest good, and obviously, that's a hard thing to really quantify. It's like, how can we really say what's best for someone? And, I think there's a combination of, when I'm still, obviously, I'm working this out. This is something I've been really playing with, is what actions, like when you're being kind to someone is simultaneously being kind to yourself. If the action that you're doing for someone else, you're labeling as kind, but it's actually a disservice, it's dishonorable, it's disrespectful, it's non-loving to yourself, I don't think that's a kind action. I think that's more nice. I think love has harmony in it. Kindness has harmony in it. And if you are out of balance, you're loving someone else at the expense of yourself, internally. I'm not saying this in a selfish way, like, you're like, I'm not trying to imply at all that kindness should only happen when there's something in it for you, but it's more from an internal state of like, what you like, what you want done, do unto others what you would have done to yourself. This is just a simple way of putting it that comes to mind. Obviously, we all know that saying, where it comes from, but I think that's kind of more along the lines of what I'm trying to talk about here. And again, I'm still pondering this, but I think this is a big thing of really thinking about what's kindness, especially when it comes to, raising children. What does it mean to be kind? Is being kind, having some consequences, or is that just being nice? And is being kind teaching in a way that makes your children learn lessons that they don't have to learn in a much harder fashion later in life? Is that being kind, which can feel like it's punishment when really it's not? It's been a really interesting process to observe. And man, it's a trip. It really is. So thanks for bringing that up. And I'm going to bring up your comment again here, and I'll go to you, Jukes, as well. You could say that kindness is the action of love. I would agree. That's a great way to put that. And to me, the most important thing was distinguishing like niceness versus kindness. And I think that, being kind and loving someone can actually be doing something that's hard and saying no, and saying, I'm not going to do that. Because no can be a kind thing. Like if yes is just as positive or negative as no is. It's contextual, right? And so I think you nailed it. We could say kindness is an action of love, but to me, it's like it's such an interesting thing though to see how it relates to life and just actions, and like when we're actually living, when we're being nice, can we distinguish between when we're being nice and being kind? Let's go to Jukes here. Islamic philosophy is a big term. It basically spans the entire Arab and Persian world. So technically calling it Islamic philosophy isn't really correct term, but it's easier to use. Dude, I understand totally. It's reducing something so massive down to a simplistic form. And I do appreciate that, because for me, it's much easier to understand than anything else. But I do want to learn about it. And philosophy is a subject transcends any religion. I could not agree more. Let's see. Decent Crypto, good to have you here. Good to have all of you here. I mean, we've been going for an hour and 22. This is fantastic. I appreciate all of you that have come and hung out with me. And again, if you guys want to come hang out live on stream, I'll say for you guys that are in chat, you don't even have to have a camera. You can just come hang out on stream with the mic. As long as I know who you are, you have your name, then come on up. And just for disclaimer, if anyone goes crazy, I'm just going to remove you. So please be respectful. Please come on stream, and would love to hang. Clint, my example between being nice and kind is you see someone while jogging being nice and just saying good morning. Kindness is helping them if they fall and scrape their knee. Exactly, dude. You nailed it. There's a completely different. There's a humanitarian element. It's like, I think it's a perfect example. Someone falls and you see someone in need. And you're doing the humanitarian thing. You're not, it's like an innate, like, I'm going to lift you up. It's not like, it's so easy to mistake. Like, anyone can say anything. I think kindness is in action and niceness is in words, and not always, because you can be nice. And like, you can be nice to someone by, holding the door open, or blah, 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 blah. Or being nice by still giving an action. But kindness, I guess it's in words too, though, actually. I guess you can say that kind words exist, that kind actions exist. So I don't think you could actually say that there's only kind actions, but actions do speak louder than words. And I think that it is much more telling of an act when it's kind by its action itself, because like you can't help someone in need only by words most of the time. You can, but a lot of times actions and the giving nature of an action, I think, is more impactful than just words. It's such an interesting thing to think about. I think this subject is so much depth and so much power. It's like, it even reminds me of, there's I think there's another aspect here that I'll bring up that I've really considered interesting is, and it came to me a little while ago. I've been playing with it. I really don't obviously understand it fully, but when it landed, it was like a whoa, feels like something kind of moment. And we talk about unconditional love in the sense of like spreading and giving that kindness through action and words. But there's two other things. We've heard about forgiveness, and I think unconditional forgiveness is an interesting one. And forgiveness is an internal thing where you forgive yourself and forgive others. And to each of you, maybe that means a different thing. But to me, forgiveness is something where you no longer bring what is bothering you, that thing, that energy internally, that with anger or malice or frustration or annoyance or hatred or whatever that is, you no longer choose to take actions that are based on that. And you release that and you choose to create and make actions or take actions that are based on, just not that on different level, on a different type of energy. And I think it feels like there's something here. I'm playing with it more and more, but there's a third piece that came too, because everyone knows forgiveness, but the other aspect, I think there's like a trinity here, so to speak. So there's unconditional love, there's a practice unconditional forgiveness, which is for yourself and others. When you see yourself making a mistake, maybe you see yourself judging. If you see yourself doing something that is unkind, unloving to someone else, or someone does it to you, it's like you want to forgive them, but also forgiving yourself, I think, is just as important. It's like we can like meta judge ourselves. We're like, we see ourselves getting mad at someone, like, no, I can't believe I would do that to myself. Like, oh, it's awful of me to judge this person. I'm like, shame on me. And that's like this weird meta judgment that we can get into. And I think it's important to realize that we can actually forgive ourselves. We can release ourselves from that train, that perpetual, cycle that becomes very negative. And the third thing, though, that I'm playing with is, and I'm terrible at this, I'm getting better, talk about it a little bit from time to time, and it's becoming more ingrained, but it's still a little bit of a loose concept, is this idea of unconditional gratitude. Because, and I don't mean this in like, be thankful for everything, like, wow. But what I mean is, or think happy thoughts. This isn't something that I'm trying to explain as like a very ego inflating or, kind of very weak concept, but this comes more in the sense of understanding that when we're experiencing something right now, it's just an experience. So let me frame this a little bit better. What I'm meaning here is, let's say your car gets hit. Okay, you get in a car accident, and whatever the degree is that the consequences, maybe you just got an fender bender, maybe you're in the hospital. At the time, in that moment, you're going to think, oh my God, this is terrible. This is horrible. How, like, I can't believe this happened. And it's going to feel like a negative experience. But fast forward to a month, 2 months, a year, however long, and you're in the hospital, and someone hears about your incident, and you meet them because of it. That interaction could then lead to another circumstance, or maybe you're unable to do what you've been doing for the last while. Like, you can't do your job, and it forces you to assess your life and look at what you're doing. And next thing you know, you start meeting different people. You start doing different things that you couldn't before, and you start to find a sense of fulfillment or purpose, or you meet the right people and you find your right call. There's all sorts of things. Like, what I'm saying is, a moment that seems bad can lead to the best circumstances down the line. And sometimes this can take a week or decades or a lifetime to really go. Like, I look back on my life, and I'm sure we could all say the same to some degree. Stuff happens when you're growing up that shapes you, and sometimes it's extremely, it can be pretty hardcore and pretty damaging. And when I look at my life, the reason this seems so true for me is because if I didn't go through what I went through as a kid, whatever that was, I would not be sitting here right now. I would not be able to be on stream. I would never, all of the little interactions, all the little pieces of life that had to happen, the steps that I needed to take and everything that I experienced led to right here, right now. And so, and it can equally be bad. Well, not bad. It can equally shape to something positive is happening, right? Where like, wow, I got this condo. I got this car. I made $1 million, and you see this all the time, right? People that win the lottery, they go and they destroy themselves. And immediately I'm sure like, wow, this is the best day ever. I can't believe it. I've made it. This is the best day of my life. And in reality, that's the day that's the day they started to destroy themselves. And so, unconditional gratitude is a concept that I've been playing with that, trusting that what you're experiencing and perceiving and is happening right here in front of you is an opportunity that will or is leading you in future experiences in time to exactly what is in your best interest if you're willing to be open and learn from it. I think a teacher of mine said that pain only happens when we refuse to learn something. And so I think there's a lot of truth in that. And I think this is why, I feel more and more like this is very real with this unconditional gratitude where, moment to moment, just say, maybe this is good. Maybe this is bad. We'll see where it leads and just follow that and be open to learning. There's a very famous parable. I can't remember who said this. Maybe you guys will know, but I think it was a monk. I think this is a Buddhist parable. Maybe not Buddhist, but it is a I don't know which classification of Buddhism this would be, because I know there's a ton, as all religions have. But basically, the story goes: a woman gets pregnant, cheats on her husband, goes and drops the monk off, or goes and drops the kid off when he's born at the monastery, and the monk opens the door. She places him in her hands and says, "Here's your child." And she walks away. And I'm probably butchering this, but the moral of the story you'll get is the most important thing. And so the monk goes in, and people that see says, or people that are seeing are like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, this monk had a kid with this woman. Oh, it's blasphemous," and all this stuff. And like, basically his response is maybe. And so he raises the child, and I think there's a few more steps in this as well, but the child, as it's growing up, gets to 18 years old, breaks his leg, is riding a horse and breaks his leg. And the community freaks out and is like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible." And he says, "Maybe." And a few months later, or I guess like not long afterwards, the conscription for the army shows up at their door to draft all who are able to that are over 18. And the son has a broken leg. He can't be drafted. And so everyone's celebrating like, "Oh my God, he didn't have to go to war. This is amazing." And again, the monk says maybe. And I think this is a great parable of just, to understand that, each moment can feel like a positive or a negative, but it will constantly vary, and nothing is, in no single circumstance is necessarily positive or negative inherently by itself, as they typically, each experience leads to something else, and we can't know where it's leading. So anywho, I hope this is making sense. And I think I love this conversation. So let me see here. Trader Lee says, even when two people speak the same language, a word can carry different meanings for each of them, shaped by the emotions and biases they associate with. 100%. And this is the problem, is we can only really can only project, and we can only interpret through that same projection filter, I'll call it, which is our beliefs, our associations, our emotions, our perspectives, our experiences. We can't, it seems to me impossible to, not interact with someone and interpret them through the projection of our own beliefs and everything that you just laid out. I don't think that's possible. And so, like you said, even when two people speak the same language, a word can carry two different meanings for each of them, And I think this gets amplified over like text messages and stuff too. So I think this is a great point. Utah says, what about the theory that we as spiritual beings choose the life and experiences that we want to have before we were ever physically born into this world? We as souls repeat this human experience. I have definitely, I'm very familiar with this, and I do think there is some truth. It's really interesting to see that, life often presents itself and we go through experiences in a way that seems to be exactly in alignment with lessons that we need to learn if we want to, what I would call, heal and transcend maybe these unconscious wounds or whatever you want to call them. It's an interesting one to talk about, but I do feel that there is something to that, and it's hard to not want to take it too seriously. Like, say, like, we have been souls and we've had other lifetimes, and I think we got to be careful, because I've also come to see that time only exists from this limited experience, and when this experience ends after death, then time does not exist. And so if we're looking at that we chose it before and that we've had past lives and future lives, if we're looking at it from that lens, it's like all lives have happened and already happened. We're just playing this one out in terms of our perception this time around. And it's a really interesting subject, though. I do think there is something to that, but to say this is one of those things that's like, man, how can we ever know exactly what that means? Even if it's true, as Connor is saying, maybe 100% maybe. But I am in agreement with you. I think there's something here. It's just how to say it, and how to say it in a way that embodies the truth that we feel without getting too attached and being like, I believe that blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden now you're identified with it and you've kind of messed with the truth in it. It's such a tricky thing, it stuck with me. It's stuck with me for, I think I was told that 2 years ago, and it's always seemed to be proven true. So yeah, pain only happens when you refuse to learn something. Another one that you might like as well, that I was told by the same teacher, is the truth will never inflate your ego. And this one, you want to think about, it's like, all right, you sit down. It's like life. To me, another way to say it is the truth will always humble your ego, right? It's like, that's why we say, like, he got humble pie, he learned that, or he or she got learned some humble pie, or had to eat their humble pie. It's an interesting thing. Humble pie. What does that tell you about life? It's like, if you get too cocky, if you get too inflated of an ego, life will correct you. Life will humble you. And I think that's interesting to look at that action of humbling. Humbling is like truth setting. It's like life is correcting you into a more truthful way of living. And I think there's so much truth in that statement without being like, it's true. Another thing that I've learned that I can relate to this is, for me, it's like the truth feels like loss, not in a sense where I'm literally like, I lost an arm, lost a tooth, or lost my beard. But it's more in the sense of loss in identity, or loss in like, it's like humility, like being humbled is like a sense of like surrender, in the sense of like, okay, I'm powerless. There's a sense of powerlessness. There's a reduction that happens. And it's been powerful for me. Hopefully it helps you guys as well, because I mean, it's different for everyone in the way we interpret it. But there's the seed in there somewhere. There's the mustard seed somewhere in that, and I don't know how else to say it. But I remember, I've had some experiences, doing different plant medicines, and they messed me up, honestly. And what saved me, well, I don't want to say saved, because it's like, oh my God, this thing, but it's like what brought me out of this state of like hyper inflated ego, because I was stuck there for quite a while, honestly. I was in it, and I didn't have the tools at the time to handle it. But when you have a really powerful journey and you have all these revelations, and you don't have something to balance it out, you can take things personally. And as soon as you take it personally, your ego inflates and you think, oh my God, wow. You think so much of yourself. And I think that's the danger. And what's been powerful about what I'm saying now is this is really what helped me remember. It's like anything that is a realization, or anything that comes if I try to make it about myself, be like, this is true, it can't be, right? If I just got to remember that it's not, you can't make it about me. Maybe not, leave it. And it's been powerful that if I feel gain, I feel like, oh, I figured it out, I haven't. And it's been powerful for me to think about it like that. I forget all the time, but it's cool to be able to talk about this on stream, because I feel like me saying it to you guys is me saying it to myself, and this is actually one of the cool things about talking, and the dangerous thing about talking so much as well is, I'm sure you guys, if anyone's worked in sales, maybe not all sales, but oftentimes, I've worked a number of selling jobs, and every time I've sold someone on something, I begin to sell myself. Like, I worked in a music store, and I was working in the recording section, and I would sell people stuff all the time, and I would talk to them about all sorts of the studio monitors and the preamps and all the analog hardware and plugins and all the DJ stuff, everything. And the more I knew, the more I could tell people about how great it was. And the more my account balance ticked up. I mean, I worked at a car dealerships. I worked at a car dealership for a little while. And the more I sold cars, the more I was like, I gotta have one. I gotta have this one. And so it's like, it's cool to have an opportunity. And I'm thankful you guys are receptive to it. And I know that you guys also have your own wisdom and your own understandings of this too, where it's like, it's a conversation. So this is cool for me to be able to talk about this, because, there's not too many instances in life where you're in a room with as many people as we have now, even if it's digitally, where we can just, talk about this stuff, which is amazing. And I appreciate you guys wanting to talk about it and hang with me on this, because it's meaningful. I hope it's meaningful to you guys as well. And it's just the kind of stuff that Crypto Heartbeat would talk about. Dude, I gotta get Matt on the channel. I haven't spoken to him in quite a while. I really haven't. I would love to. Lessons in life will be repeated until they are learned has been very true for me. You see, it feels like this universal thing. It's like, if you don't learn what life is trying to teach you, you're going to eventually feel pain, and it doesn't have to be painful. But it will be eventually if you don't learn. One of the 4 agreements, don't take things personally. It's difficult for me to apply sometimes. Dude, you're not alone in that. I'm sure everyone else in here has experienced that to at least some degree. Isn't there like rule number 6? Don't take yourself so goddamn seriously. Isn't that something too? It's like from a video, from a, what is it? I think it's from a TED Talk. I think it's from where the guy's on stage and he just says, talking about, what was he talking? But basically he goes on stage and he's like, Rule number 6, don't take yourself so goddamn seriously. And then he starts going on, and I'm probably butchering this. I think I'm actually, he was telling a story actually. Oh my God. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch this damn thing before I come on and talk about it, because I realize I'm going to do it a disservice. But this reminds me of that. And then maybe we'll play it the next time I can find it. But that being said, we're getting up on an hour and 45 minutes, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm feeling like it's time to wind this down a little bit here. But all truths are true. My truth is my truth. Your truth is yours. Great conversation. Well, exactly. And I think you said it best. It's like, you can't, like, if the truth is beyond words, then that has to be true, and I think why it's been said so many different ways throughout time, and people have resonated so many different ways throughout time, because the truth can only be interpreted and relayed in a way that in an essence is innately a disservice to the truth, based on who's listening. And some people will interpret, what I'm saying as like, oh yeah, great. Other people will be like, hell no. And it's understanding that even the people that say no, I think are right, and it's important to, at least for me, to recognize that, like, and I forget it all the time. I do all this stuff. It's like, you get in life, you get in your ways, you get in your unconscious patterns when you don't even realize you're in your unconscious patterns, and you forget, because this is like highly conscious stuff in terms of like, it takes a lot of awareness and intention and focus to really remember all of this, and to let all of this guide every single action and decision, thought and perception that we have on our day-to-day. So the truth is everywhere. The truth is in someone disagreeing. The truth is in someone agreeing. The truth can be in indifference. The truth is in indifference. It's everywhere. I mean, technically speaking, it's all that is. So, which is maybe a weird way to put it, but I'd say it's maybe as close as I can get to trying to put that in a concrete way. But yeah, me too. And thank you guys for hanging with me. So we got 324 people that are hanging right now. We've got 200 on X. We've got 26 on Cryptographics on YouTube, and 100 on X Cryptographics page, which I find super interesting that X is really kicking off, and YouTube is getting very few views. So I'm going to keep doing YouTube, but this shows me that, and because I think it's just all of you guys that are hanging in the chat with me that are watching right now. But what's interesting is most people that are watching are on X. So I'll keep YouTube going, but that's good to know, because YouTube is becoming less and less and less impactful. I mean, I have almost 14,500 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm getting 23 views. Torus has about 800 followers. Cryptographics has just shy of 6,000. And Torus has almost 200. Cryptographics and both these are on X, so 300 combined versus 200 is 10 times more. So almost 20 times more actually, which is crazy. So I will see what happens with YouTube, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Lots of learnings happening with all this. So yeah, I appreciate you, Clint. It was great to hang out with all of you guys. This was an excellent conversation. Looking forward to the next one. Hey, this is every Saturday. It doesn't have to be like TitanX church, so to speak, every week, or but I also like this. It's cool to come in and have a Saturday start with, this type of conversation. It's cool to set the day on this note, and then carry this with you and have this as, the energy that you're bringing into the day. So I hope you guys found it meaningful. I hope, it resonated a bit. It started your day off on a good note, and thank you all for being here. Each and every one of you, I'm incredibly grateful to have all of you join me on Saturday. And I am hoping at some point here that you guys are going to start hopping on stream so we can actually talk about this together. I know we're talking just as much as we ever could in the tech side, but it'd be great to have you guys hop on stream with me as well, because it's more fun to chat and to hear the words, hear the expression, than just interpret the words as well. But that being said, I think right on time, Jerry. Thank you for the repost. Let's end it there. So guys, gals, whoever's watching right now, thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday, or, by the time you're watching this, if you're in Australia or down under anywhere, that you have a fantastic Sunday, or if it's your Saturday night, hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And if you haven't already, guys, go to Torus right now. Go check out the DApp. It's torus.win. And actually, let's take one quick look here. I think the price just absolutely skyrocketed, up 15%. Let's see. I'm going to share this right now so you guys can see too. So Torus just had some big buys, it looks like. 30 minutes ago, someone came in, bought up the price an hour in. So since we started the stream, we've had about 4,000, 5,000, almost 5,500. So $5,500 basically have come in the DApp via purchases alone since the start of the stream, which is fantastic. And if we go to the price chart, we can see excellent. Torus is trading about $5 a pop, which is super cool. So guys, if you haven't already, go to the Telegram room in the description below. There's all the links to the Torus Telegram, to the Torus DApp, to the Torus white paper. And I would love to answer all your questions if you want to learn more about what Torus is and what it is designed to do over time. I really want you guys to understand this. I think we have big things happening here. We're on the precipice of so much change. BTC and ETH are about to rip. I think this TitanX ecosystem is about to rip. And we're on the precipice of the fun part. So with that being said, thank you guys for being here. Cheers, everyone. Have a great weekend. And I will see you very soon in either a voice chat in the Telegram or a stream here online on either X or YouTube.